Everyone, today I will be solving tutorial number 7. We have two questions, question 1 and 2. I will solve them and I will upload the solutions as usual on YouTube. For now, happy Ramadan and I hope you enjoy the solutions. As you know, on Monday there will be an exam, so prepare for it. In the first question, we have a production company, and this production company needs to formulate a recursion problem. So we have some months that we are dealing with. We have a demand. So each month we have a certain demand. We have three different kinds of costs. We have a per variable cost, CT. This means that if I produce 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, for each of these units, I will pay a cost. Then we have a smoothing cost. This smoothing cost, basically, you can think about it as the company wants to have like a pretty much same level of production, so they don't want to change too much in the factory. So this is to keep things balanced within the company. And we have an HT holding cost. And this is the cost of, in the end of the month, if you have extra units, then you need to pay for those extra units. Okay, the question is basically asking us to find this, to solve this problem in a way that we minimize the total cost. So without further ado, we start, but always, as we have already done every tutorial by now, we solve the question by defining the stage, state, and decision. So what is our stage in this case? We are dealing with months. So in this case, our stage is months. So month T. What is our decision? What are we trying to find out in this question? In this question, we are trying to determine how many units to produce each month so that we minimize our total cost. So our decision is how many units to produce. So we will call this an XT. And in order to make a decision, what do I need to know in this case? In this case, what do I need to know? In this case, I need to know the inventory level. So how many units I have right now. That's the first thing I need to know. Inventory level. That's IT. But there is another thing that we need to know in this case, and that is the previous month's units, or how many units we have basically manufactured last month. Why? Because in the smoothing cost here, we need to know the previous month. So for that reason, I need to carry that information within my state. So I'm going to say the previous month's production. So previous month's production. And we can call this an I don't know, maybe XT, as we have in the question already. And in this case here, we will change this to YT. Okay, now we have defined our stage, state, and decision. We know what kind of problem we're dealing with. So what we are trying to do, we need to define our function. And what is our function? Basically, in this situation, we are dealing with inventory level, and this is previous month's level of production. So in this case then, we are dealing with a minimization problem, as the question is asking us to minimize the problem. So we are minimizing the problem. Minimum cost. And you know the drill. Given that I have IT units in my inventory and I have produced XT minus 1 units last month during the time. So we have 12 months in this problem. Okay, so suppose now we are in the last month. Suppose that this is your last month. Do you care about the future? You don't care about the future. All you care is about this month. So we are here, F12. I have an inventory level of I12, and I have a production level of X11. So that's the previous month's production level. I am trying to minimize my problem, and I'm minimizing my Y T. So Y12. Okay, so what kind of a costs do we have in this problem? The first cost we're dealing with is a variable cost. So depending on the units I produce, I will have a variable cost. In that case, then, I have C12 multiplied by the amount of units I produce. So that's X12. Then, what is my second cost? My second cost is the smoothing cost. So we are dealing with 5 multiplied by absolute values of X12 minus X11. Okay, so we dealt with the smoothing cost also, and we have a different cost. What is our third cost? It's a holding cost. This means that if I produce extra units, then I need to pay for a holding cost. How do I determine the holding cost? That is the initial inventory, how many units I had in the beginning of the month, plus the units I produced during this month, minus the demand. So I12 plus X12, this is the amount of units I produced this month, minus demand during this month. So this will leave me with the extra units in the end of the month. And also I need to clarify that I cannot produce negative units, so I can only produce positive units or 0. And also I need to specify that the inventory level and the amount of units I produce during a specific month should be larger or equal to the demand during that month. So I have I12 and I'm producing some extra X12 units, but these should be larger or equal to D12 because I need to satisfy my demand during that month. Okay, so this is for the last month. So this is the end of the problem. But now suppose that we are dealing with the previous month. So suppose that T is smaller than 12, previous months. So FT, IT, and XT minus 1. We are dealing again with the minimization problem. This is YT. We are minimizing our Y. Again, so this is the general idea. What kind of a cost do I have? I have a per variable cost, a CT cost. And I will pay CT for each XT unit I produce. That's one. The second thing, I have a smoothing cost. And in this smoothing cost, I will have 5 absolute values. The units I produced during this month minus the previous month's units. Sorry about that. Okay. What kind of other costs I'm dealing with? I am dealing with a holding cost, and this is the extra units I have in the end of the month. Again, so T plus 1, HT plus 1. So this is for the next month. Sorry, this should be HT. So I have I, T, the unit in my inventory in this month, plus the amount of units I produced during this month, minus DT. Again, so this is the amount I have now, this much I produced, minus my demand. How do I go to the next stage? I go to the next stage, FT plus 1. Again, it's pretty much the same idea, but now I need to carry this information off my states, right? So this is IT, the inventory level I have now, plus XT the amount I produced, minus dt, which is the demand now. Put this into the parentheses. And what else do I need to know? I need to know the previous month's level. So basically, I need to know xt's production level. Again, so here we are dealing t plus 1. So next month, I need to know xt's production level. As we said earlier also, my constraints are that I cannot produce negative units, and also I need to know that my production level and my inventory level should be at least equal to the demand. Okay, so this is the solution to the first problem. To recap it, the only trick in here is that you need to carry two information in your state. So you need to carry the information of your current inventory level, and you need to carry the information of the previous month's production level. Once you do this, the rest is simple because it's just determining a normal function. In question, we have a farmer, and this farmer wants to determine, he wants to have a strategy in which he can have total profit, but he wants to minimize it so that the cost will be minimized. And the idea is that we have a problem which is dealt in during different months, say t different months, and the farmer has xt bushels of wheat. Just suppose that these are bags. Suppose that he has xt bags of wheat, and he has, during each month, he has two choices. He can either sell or buy. So during each month, in the beginning of the month, he decides, should I buy some new bags of wheat and add it into my total of wheat, or should I sell it, and in this way I will have less, but I will have some profit from it. We have also a warehouse capacity, and in which it's a C, and the idea is that we want to minimize our total profit. As we always do, we define our stage, state, and decision. As it is obvious by now, stage is month t. What is our state? What do I need to know to make a decision? I need to know the available wheat I have. So how much wheat I have already in my warehouse. Available wheat. Suppose we call this xt. And what is my decision? What am I trying to do? During each month, I am deciding whether I should buy more wheat or I should sell some portion of my wheat. So buy or sell, and we will call this an ZT as an example. Now, think about this logically. Suppose that we are in the end of the problem where t equals capital T. This is my last month. So we are in the end of the problem, right? Do you care about buying new things? Let's suppose that it's a bad example, but let's suppose that tomorrow you will die, okay? Do you care about buying new things after you die? You don't care, right? All you care about is you want to sell all of it so that you have some profit, because tomorrow you know that you're not going to be here. So in this case then, when I'm in my last month, capital T, and I have xt available wheat, then in this month I will sell all of my wheat. So basically, sell everything I have. Again, why? Because you don't care about the future. You don't want to buy anymore and keep it in your warehouse because you're not going to be there to take care of it. So you will just sell it and you will have nothing left in your, let's say, warehouse. So this is in the last month. But now, suppose that you are in one of the previous months. So that's lowercase t, ft, xt. Now we want to maximize either selling or buying. Okay, so let's take these scenarios one by one. Let's say I will buy some more wheat. If I buy some more wheat, then I will have a PT cost. PT because it's a minus because we are buying something, and this in this case, like in a way, we are losing some money, and we buy Z amount of wheat, and we go to the next stage with FT plus 1. So I already have XT, right? How much more I will have? I bought Z, so I will have XT plus Z. And this is the first scenario. This is if I buy more wheat. Or another scenario can be that I will sell it, so it might be more profitable to sell it now. So in that case then, I will have ST. This is the price of selling, so this is a positive number because I am gaining something. Multiply by Z, the amount I sell. And how do I go to the next stage? I go to the next stage with, I already had this XT, but now I sold some of it, right? So it's going to be minus, sorry about that, minus Z. So basically the idea is I will choose the maximum of these two. The maximum of these two, sorry about that, oops. I will choose either to buy during a period of time or sell during that period of time. And we have some constraints, which basically mean that I cannot have more units I cannot buy more Z units if I don't satisfy my capacity, because if I have too many units in my capacity, then I'm not going to be able to keep them in my warehouse. And the other one is that I can sell as much as I have, right? I cannot sell a negative amount, but I cannot also sell more than I have. So this is the answer to the second problem. To recap it again, the idea here is that in the first part of the problem, that is during the last month, you don't care about the future, you sell whatever you have. In the second part of the problem, each month you're deciding whether you should buy or you should sell. And which one will you choose? You will choose the one that brings you more money. And in that case, you will choose the maximum of each of them. So you can either buy during a period of, during a month or sell during a month. So this is the answer to the second problem.